So I always make it a note never to talk after Jane because she's one of the smartest people I know, but they made me do it anyway. So, yeah, what can I do? So Jane talked a lot about how ALEC makes corporations a lot of money. I'm actually going to make the argument that their number one goal is not to make money, it's to have power over people. So I'm going to talk about how ALEC corporate right-wing groups are out to control our democracy, damage our democracy, and how it's affecting our human rights and civil rights in this country. So I like to think about it as a three-legged stool. Here's what they're doing. They're going after our voting rights. They're pouring millions and billions of dollars in our political system. And for the last 50, 60 years, we've had economic inequality in this country. That the American worker is making less in terms of inflation than they were in the 1950s. And it's all those three things combined is damaging our democracy and not letting people have control over our government instead of having corporations over our government. And one is not a result of the other. The three of them working together. And what ALEC does is it goes in and it kicks down each leg of the stool. So how does it do it? On economic inequality, like Jane said, they attack organized workers. Act 10 in Wisconsin, although not an ALEC bill, Scott Walker is an ALEC alum and has worked with ALEC, and the bill was voted on by ALEC members. They oppose raising the minimum wage. They give out these big tax breaks for the wealthy and corporations. They oppose progressive taxes. Money in politics, Citizens United opened the floodgates. ALEC has a resolution supporting Citizens United. ALEC legislators oppose disclosure laws that open up secrecy. They oppose public financing of campaigns. And then there's all these dark money groups that are connected to ALEC and the super PACs that are pouring literally billions of dollars in our political system. And the effect of it is you hate government. People hate government because all they see is negative ads on TV. And then, of course, they go after voting rights. Voter ID is one of the most popular ALEC laws that's been pushed around the country. They claim they no longer support it because we made them so embarrassed by it. But last year, a year after they claimed they no longer support it, in 2013, NIT's organization found that 20 states had introduced ALEC's voter ID law. So the damage has already been done. ALEC governors and legislators, they cut early voting. And the Supreme Court, filled by right-wing corporatist judges, came out last year and struck down the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And so voter suppression is all around. And voter ID, right here in Texas, 2011 it passed, it was ALEC's bill. 2012 the Obama administration said no, you cannot enforce that bill because of the Voting Rights Act. The Supreme Court in 2015 knocked down the bill. It was, I think, on January 20th. They knocked down the Voting Rights Act. And the day after, your Attorney General right here in Texas said voter ID is immediately in effect. And now it's becoming an issue in this current gubernatorial race. And who's the Republican gubernatorial candidate? Oh yeah, Greg Abbott. Who is speaking out? So you've heard about who's doing this. ALEC, SPN, the Koch Brothers, our friend Grover Norquist, the Chamber of Commerce, we cannot forget about them. They represent the biggest and baddest corporations in America. And the Koch Brothers voting group, Americans for Prosperity, pouring millions of dollars into our system. So how does ALEC do this? They do it through junkets. You've heard about how ALEC flies legislators to all these events paid by corporations, although the legislators do not disclose it's coming from corporations. So this is a case in Missouri that we did some research on a few months ago where over the last few years, Missouri and Kansas legislators got hundreds of thousands of dollars in these junkets where they give free trips to ALEC conferences, all paid by corporations secretly. And the corporations then give millions of dollars to these legislators in their campaign funding. And guess what? Their laws that they want pass. Who would have guessed? And you can see this is the corporate-sponsored legislation they get. And it's all being done in secret, which is why in 2012, when Nick was running Common Cause, we have a lawsuit or a complaint against the IRS saying that ALEC is doing this illegally lobbying as a nonprofit. And it's a whistleblower lawsuit based on documents we got, so it's completely secret. No one knows the status of the complaint. It literally could come out tomorrow. So it is one way we're fighting back. We're exposing them. We're telling them that they're doing things illegally, which they are. So what can we do? First of all, you have to understand that there is a problem, so you got to stand up. Then you have to educate your friends, your members, like Jane does. She flies around the country. You have to work together in coalitions like we did yesterday. And then you have to go out and vote. Because at the end of the day, the bad legislators, and ALEC claims it's nonpartisan, but it is mostly Republican. But let's be honest with ourselves. These are not good Republicans. There are good Democrats and there are good Republicans in this country. There are bad Democrats and there are bad Republicans in this country. And these are not good Republicans. So the best way to defeat ALEC is to vote them out. Because without the legislators, ALEC does not have a product to give to its big corporate funders. So voting is the most important thing we can do to defeat ALEC. And because we need more people to speak, I'm done.